What's good, fam? I'm finally back with another episode of the Fictional Basketball League playoffs, and I know it's been a long time coming, but things will happen as they should. Shout out to you, though, if you're still rocking with this series. That said, today I'm highlighting the Pelicans vs. Rockets series, where we have Miles August, who led the Pelicans in a shocking win over the one-seeded Golden State Warriors, facing Eli, Showtime, Harris, and the stacked Houston Rockets. Now, in episode 23, the Pelicans got washed in game 1, so if you're new to the channel or if you forgot, feel free to check out the FBL Season 1 playlist in the description down below to catch up. But now, no more talking, let's get into game 2. The Pelicans started the game strong, especially after the beating they took in game 1. Off the first play, Stephen Lee was able to stop Sean Hornacek's strong attack to the basket with a snatch block, followed by Axel Walden, who finished the fast break with a layup. This is the type of energy the Pelicans showcased, which is what got them into the playoffs and beat the Warriors in round 1. Wallace Vidal would respond in kind on the Rockets' fast break with a mean green midi. Fast forward to the 9-minute mark, Damian Sims would throw the lob to Eli Harris, who slammed a thunderous dunk to take the lead. I will say, the intangible thing about the Rockets that you can't tell from the stats is the team chemistry. The ball is passed around at least 2 times before a shot is taken, as you can see here, where Wallace Vidal passed the rock to Damian Sims, and Damian passed the rock to the open Sean Hornacek to expand the Rockets' lead. But Miles and Axel Walden have great chemistry together as well. The same can't be said for the team overall. On this play, Miles drew the double team, which left Axe wide open for the 3 to tie the game. Axe would continue his attack with his half spin to get by Wallace Vidal to finish at the rim. Pelicans 13, Rockets 11. Despite the theatrics, the Rockets will respond right back, but hold on, Miles with the sauce, mixed at Sean Hornacek and hit Wallace Vidal with the poster. Ugh. Near the 5-minute mark, Eli Harris would make his presence felt after the feed from Damian Sims, and 1. Cue the Tyler Hero snarl. Eli would go on to hit the free throw. The Rockets were now up by 5. Jumping into the second quarter, the Pelicans were down by 15, but were still fighting to get back into the game. Miles stole the rock from Wallace Vidal and dished the ball to Henry Fisher, who would get denied at the rim by Harvey Ray. Igor Chuganov and Lee Arbay would deny Sean Hornacek in the paint to keep the Rockets in check for a little bit. But Sean would pay the Pelicans back in kind by not only intercepting Miles' pass, but also finishing the fast break with a contested layup over Lee Arbay. After the half, the Pelicans were down by 20 points with the need for a spark to change the tide. Axel Walden would be the catalyst with this powerful putback dunk for the Pelicans' first 2 points of the quarter. Down by 16, Stephen Lee continued to menace Sean Hornacek by blocking another shot in the paint. Lee Arbay would dish the rock to Axel Walden, who finished the possession with a windmill dunk. This was now 6 straight unanswered points from the Pelicans. Despite the great offense, the Pelicans had some hiccups though. Of all the things to do, this man Lee Arbay decided to do a spin move just to go out of bounds. This poor decision almost destroyed the Pelicans' momentum. However, the Pelicans were able to string together some plays, like Casey Stark scoring off this drop step. This was followed by Miles, who hit a mean green midi to bring the game to within 5. Axe would do the same with his own mean green midi to bring the game to within 3. Now near the 6-minute mark, the Pelicans were on a 14-2 make that 14-4 run. Down by 5 with 5 minutes left in the quarter, Stephen Lee would not only get the second chance points, but would also draw contact and 1. Miles would get subbed out only to come back to a 7-point deficit. Off the fast break, Damian Sims faked the jump shot and dished the rock to the open Eli Harris, who almost caught a body. Casey Starks was lucky he wasn't in the paint, boy. Rockets up by 9. Miles was not about to have the Pelicans go into the fourth by a 10-point deficit. He and Harvey have a bit of a rivalry, but Miles with the step back, tween, and a lean and green to close the quarter. Wallace Vidal started the fourth quarter with a tough layup over Axel Walden to expand the Rockets' lead to 9. Miles would take this personally and respond back immediately with the green midi. You can see the pain on Harvey's face after that snatch. Pelicans 93, Rockets 100. But the Rockets would respond immediately afterwards as well. Wallace Vidal off the screen from Jalen Shaw would lose Stephen Lee off the bounce to head straight to the rim on Stephen's weak side. At the 9-minute mark, Wallace Vidal got a pick and threw a dot to Sean Hornacek, who finished the play in the paint. But the dagger would come near the 8-minute mark on the next play. Sean Hornacek with the fake and dish to Jalen Shaw, who would put Stephen Lee in a poster. My goodness. The Pelicans were absolutely deflated after this play. The Rockets would go on to win Game 2, 138 to 125. Looking at the tail of the tape, it was truly a battle between Miles and Eli with some stark differences. Starting off with Eli, he had a solid 35-point double-double with 13 boards, 5 assists, and 2 blocks, whereas Miles almost had a double-double with 32 points and 9 assists, but he also had 5 turnovers. Although the scoring between the two was similar, Eli was way more efficient, shooting 52% from the field compared to Miles, who shot 48% from the field, and the percentages from beyond the arc are also telling. Looking at the box score, sheesh. The Rockets had 4 players with over 15 points and 6 players, almost 7, with double-digit points. Other than Eli, Wallace Vidal had 20 points, 12 of which came in the fourth as he led the Rockets to close out the game. Wallace also followed by Sean Hornacek and Pete Games, who both had 16, Odell Hilliard, who had 12, and Rich Swift, who had 11. The only starters who didn't have double-digit points were Damian Sims and Jalen Shaw. And sidebar, if you're looking to learn more about this team, check out episode 10 of the FBL Season 1 creation playlist, where I go into more details about the entire team. Moving on to the Pelicans, as we know, Miles tried his best to keep the game close, as did Axel, Casey Starks, and Stephen Lee. Despite the loss, Miles tied his own record of field goals made in a playoffs game to take the 3rd spot in the record book. This would be the 3rd time he made the record book for field goals made in a playoff game. Axe had a solid 22 points on 56% shooting, and KC, who had a 17-point and 10-board double-double as well as 6 assists on 67% shooting, tried his best as well, which hasn't been the norm. Stephen Lee also had a double-double with 17 points and 22 boards, which is wild, as well as getting to the line as often as he did. In fact, Stephen set a new playoff team record with these 22 boards while also taking the 4th and 5th slots in the record book earlier in the playoffs. In addition, Stephen made the record books with these 5 blocks, which is the second to his 6 blocks against the Warriors in round 1. So congratulations to Stephen. Now, despite all that I just said, the bench pretty much sold. They were only able to score 37 points compared to the starters Leslie Arbe, who had 88. Overall, the Pelicans showed an absolute lack of awareness on defense, especially in the paint, where the Pelicans gave up 62 points. The Rockets neutralized the Pelicans' ability to take the shots from the perimeter, which ultimately forced the Pelicans to match the paint. Knowing what the plan of attack was, the Rockets would either cause a turnover, of which they had 7, or the Rockets would heavily contest shots that led to quick buckets on the transition. The Rockets were able to get to the line way more than the Pelicans, scoring 9 points compared to the Pelicans' 4 in the first half, and 31 in total compared to the Pelicans, who scored 18, which was the deciding factor in this game. The Rockets are now only 2 games away from the conference finals. We'll see if the Pelicans are able to keep their playoff hopes alive as they did against the Warriors in round 1. And that will do it for today's video, fam. If you made it to this point, leave Showtime down below in the comments so that I know you made it to the end of this video. Until the next episode, as always, keep grinding, keep growing, and keep shining. I'm out. 1.